Mobutu Seseko, original name Joseph Desire Mobutu, born October 14, 1930, in Lisala, Belgian Congo, now the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Mobutu was educated in missionary schools and began his career in 1949 in the Belgian Congolese Army, the Force Publique, rising from a clerk to a sergeant major, the highest rank then open to Africans. Through his press contacts, Mobutu met the Congolese nationalist leader Patrice Lumumba, whose Congolese National Movement, MNC, he joined soon after it was launched in 1958. In 1960, Mobutu represented Lumumba at the Brussels Round Table Conference on Congo, until the release of Lumumba, who had been jailed for his nationalist activities in the Congo. When the Congo became independent on June 30, 1960, the coalition government of President Joseph Kasavubu and Premier Lumumba appointed Mobutu Secretary of State for National Defense. 8 days later, the Congo's Force Publique mutinied against its Belgian officers. As one of the few officers with any control over the army, Mobutu covertly supported Kasavubu's attempt to dismiss Lumumba. When Lumumba rallied his forces to oust Kasavubu in September 1960, Mobutu seized control of the government and announced that he was neutralizing all politicians. In February 1961, however, Mobutu turned over the government to Kasavubu, who made Mobutu commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Many believe that Mobutu bore some responsibility for the death of Lumumba, who was arrested by Mobutu's troops and flown to Katanga, where, it is believed, he was killed by Congolese or Katangese troops. As commander-in-chief, Mobutu reorganized the troops. In 1965, after a power struggle had formulated between President Kasavubu and his premier, Moise Tshombe, Mobutu ousted Kasavubu in a coup and assumed the presidency. Opposition to his rule came from numerous Congolese exiles, ethnic groups that had played decisive roles in previous governments, small farmers who gained no share in the attempted economic revival. The West shifted abruptly from supporting Mobutu at all costs to hoping that he will turn over power to someone less crooked and dictatorial, instead of putting troops into Zaire to prop him up as they did a decade ago. France and Belgium declined to undertake peacekeeping missions in Zaire as long as Mobutu was in power. This was just but the spiral collapse of Mobutu's regime. Mobutu was notorious for corruption, nepotism, and the embezzlement of between $4 billion and $15 billion during his rule. He was known for extravagances such as shopping trips to Paris via the supersonic and expensive airline. Mobutu went into temporary exile in Togo. President Gnassingbé Eyadema insisted that Mobutu leave the country a few days later. From May 23, 1997, he lived mostly in Rabat, Morocco. He died there on September 7, 1997 from